remember last week when a video of Joaquin cursing out a Joker crew member went viral?
Just shut the up, dude. I'm trying to, find something real.
After it aired on Jimmy Kimmel Live, Joaquin looked embarrassed that they even showed the video.
Now, what happened there? Who's Larry?
Yeah, Larry is the cinematographer. This is so embarrassing.
While appearing on the late-night TV show Jimmy Kimmel Live, Joker star Joaquin Phoenix was blindsided with an outtake which involved him on the set of The Joker, where he is seen angrily sharing his opinion towards the movie's cinematographer while he was in full character and in the middle of a scene.
Just shut the up, dude. I'm trying to, find something real.
Now, where have I heard something similar like that before?
What the f are you doing? Are you professional or not? Do I walk around and rip down? No, shut the up, Bruce.
That's right. Batman shared his opinion to a crew member on set as well. Now, showing the star's face after revealing the footage showed that the award-winning actor was literally left speechless and was clearly humiliated about the clip being aired. Now, at the time of creating this video you're watching, the upload of the interview on YouTube had reached a staggering 8.5 million views and is still in the early days of the movie's release. So before I break down and analyze the body language clusters of Joaquin Phoenix and his overwhelming humiliation, there are a few things I'd like to point out. So let us start by taking a look at the American talk show Jimmy Kimmel Live. Now, this talk show has had a multitude of guests ranging from sports stars, musicians, and celebrities of television and the big screen, just to name a few. Now, some of the show's most iconic guests have included past presidents of the United States. Let's look at this. On the 2nd of April, 2014, Bill Clinton was interviewed on the show and was confronted or blindsided by Kimmel on the existence of UFOs and extraterrestrials. You can see Clinton provide signs of discomfort and stress, mainly seen here via the tight clenching of his jaw, which is one of many subtle examples.
The first thing I would do after putting my hand on that Bible and taking that oath to serve the country is I wouldn't even probably finish the oath. I would run to the White House. I demand to see all the classified files on the UFOs. Because I want to know. I'd want to know what has been going on. Did you do that?
This tells me that during Kimmel's ambush for the truth, Clinton was clearly uncomfortable in answering these questions. And because of this, I feel he didn't get prepared about the alien topic before going on stage. Otherwise, he would have been a lot more relaxed in answering if he did. However, he didn't. And I would confidently go to say that this question was unscripted and asked with one purpose in mind, and that would be to catch out the truth and hope that he would slip up in some way by disclosure of bright lights and little green men. Now, moving forward almost 1 year later, on March 12, 2015, there was another interview pushing the boundaries yet again, only this time it was to be a more composed Barack Obama. He was confronted with the same question almost word for word. Now, with Obama, you could tell he knew the question was coming and played the whole thing off very smoothly when asked.
My hand would just, it'd still be hot from touching the Bible, and I would immediately race to wherever they have the files about Area 51 and the UFOs, and I go through everything to find out what happened. Right. Did you do that?
So just by looking at these two interviews alone, it's easy to see that Kimmel would not hesitate in surprising his guests, such as revealing the outtakes of Phoenix losing his temper, all in the name of good TV. So now that we covered that, let's take a look at this viral video from 2013, known as the worst twerk fail ever. When this short clip was uploaded, it went viral. And it was later revealed that the talk show Jimmy Kimmel Live was actually behind the scenes of this creative viral video. And to break down the elements that made this simple video clip successful is easy. Step 1, it had a girl in yoga pants. Step 2, she was twerking. Step 3, twerking was a trend that peaked in popularity that year in 2013. Step 4, the way she was twerking was unique and interesting. Step 5, it added an element of suspense. As you watched, you waited in anticipation for someone to walk through that door. Step 6, the viewer was then relieved from the suspense and granted satisfaction that you, the viewer, guessed correctly. Step 7, there was an added level of shock that you didn't expect, and that was that she caught fire. And lastly, Step 8, the video abruptly finishes, leaving you curious as to what happened to the girl. So it's fair to say that the talk show knew what the audience wanted to see and what would work, making a great marketing opportunity for the show. The thing that really made it, however, was not the viral video, but the reveal video showing that this clip was a hoax choreographed by the show. And the video clip of this reveal since 2013 has racked in 23 million views on YouTube by 2019. Now let's jump back to Joaquin Phoenix. He too is no stranger to thinking outside the box and doing what's needed for a movie. Take this amazing interview on The Late Show with David Letterman on the 11th of February 2009.
You know, it's been 3 years since the last time you were on the show, and I will just say right off the top here, you look different than I remember. You've got a nice beard going, and
Oh, yeah, thank you.
How is that, the beard?
In my way.
Well, is it comfortable? Is it itchy? Is it? Are you pleased with it?
I'm okay with it, but now you're making me feel weird about it.
And in this clip, I think we're going to see. You know what? Let's look at it. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Okay. And Joaquin, I'm sorry you couldn't be here tonight.
Now this was an unbelievable interview which had everyone convinced that the star had lost his marbles, and this one interview almost cost Phoenix his career. He was in full character and needed this interview as a candid piece for his upcoming 2010 mockumentary I'm Still Here, where Phoenix played himself with the plot based on how he was retiring from the film industry as an actor and would pursue a long life passion in becoming a hip-hop artist, all while sporting an overgrown beard, suit, dark glasses, and not to mention appearing totally insecure and unconfident. Here's a clip of a follow-up interview where Phoenix appeared 1.5 years later back on The Late Show with David Letterman, which is his first time back since doing the previous recording.
We wanted to make this film.
You and who wanted to make
Casey Affleck.
Yeah, right.
Well, we wanted to do a film that explored celebrity and explored the relationship between the media and the consumers. And
Now, did I know anything about this?
No.
Yeah. Was there a script that you and I were working with?
No.
Thank you very much. At the end of our chat the last time you were here, you sort of you broke the character. Remember that?
I do remember
Let's
that.
look at that. I hope that goes well for you. We'll be right back with Model Bar. Rep by Ellie. Now, your director, Casey Affleck,
Casey
was
was
upset about
very
it.
angry with me when I did that.
Were you worried in doing this that your career might actually be in jeopardy somehow?
I certainly knew that there was that risk, and we were willing to take that risk.
And looking back at it now, was it worth taking the risk?
Yeah, 100%. It was worth
Look,
a million.
all of the promotion you got from being on here that night, all of that's worth something. That's free publicity.
Now check it out. With nearly all guests on a talk show, they would be accompanied by a clip of the movie that they are promoting at the time. This allows the host and guest an opportunity to talk about, or at least show the audience what they have been discussing for the last 10 minutes or so.
Let's show people a clip. It's called I'm Still Here. And in this clip, I think we're going to see...
Now the goal of this is to allow the viewer to be aware of the movie and to offer them a decision whether to see the film or not, as well as to create a discussion about the movie within the viewer's day-to-day life. And as you'll see here, he is totally aware, like always, that there is a clip to review.
All right, here we go. I'm Still Here. Joaquin Phoenix in theaters now.
So we can already see that the reality of this interview could possibly be just a clever marketing tactic. On one hand, we have the bold entertainer, and on the other, we have a risk-taking actor, and they are both coming together to promote the hell out of this highly anticipated movie. Now, with all that behind us, let's get into the breakdown of Joaquin Phoenix's body language. At the very beginning of the unfolding of his emotions, Kimmel explains to Phoenix, Todd, referring to Todd Phillips, the director, sent me an outtake reel, and then proceeds to show the clip in question. You can see here that even before the clip is even shown, Phoenix has a look of confusion and fear at this moment, and then follows with a sheepish and highly insecure, "What do you mean?" strung together, almost sounding like one word.
Plus what was happening here.
So let's put things into perspective. He's amidst a tour promoting his movie, talking about the movie, and showing clips to talk more about the movie. And to be caught off guard like this about an outtake of the film does not match the context of the situation. Was his plan to come on the show and not show a clip of the movie? Besides, how would he have preempted that this would be something to fear being seen? unless whenever he wasn't acting, he was stressed like this at the crew at all time. So this tells me that he had already gotten into character of the role he was about to portray for the rest of the interview. So here is an edit of those outtakes.
Just shut the up, dude. I'm trying to find something real.
You can also find this, the full interview, and all other videos that are presented in this video linked in the description below. Now from here on in is the portrayal of someone going through the emotions of humiliation at its finest. And it is literally the only reason I have chosen to cover this topic because they are so good. So take note, if you ever see your friends or family members acting like this, just know that a quick topic change could save face and hold off any further embarrassment on their behalf. And they'll be much appreciative of your awareness and the fact that you diverted the attention off them.
Now, what happened there? Who's Larry?
So after a deflated "oh," he is literally lost for words and he sinks into the chair. He gazes off and to what I can tell, he would be replaying what just happened in his head. You can see here his head is almost twitching as it turns, showing uncertainty in what he should do next. Should I look down? Should I look up? Should I look at the audience? Should I look at Kimmel? He says in order to buy himself more time to construct an answer, then clears his throat in preparation to speak. Watch here, watch the inner part of his eyebrows go up ever so slightly, showing a micro expression of sadness. He turns back and looks down in shame, like a child being scolded by their parents, and he looks up at Kimmel, dead in the eyes, in order to speak, but then is overcome with nervousness by displaying a nervous scoff in an attempt to lighten the mood, all while looking at Kimmel in disbelief as if to say, "I don't know what to tell you." He then says again to buy even more time and looks around the room for some form of support, basically in hope for someone to save him from this mess. He takes a quick deep breath due to the stress from shallow breathing earlier so he can fill his lungs for the answer that's about to follow.
Yeah, Larry is the cinematographer.
He finally finds composure in the situation after all that time thinking and answers the question. By the look of it, at this moment, Kimmel's question would not be what he is struggling with here. It would be the repercussions and him creating scenarios in his head that would play out after this interview.
Yeah, Larry is the cinematographer. This is so embarrassing.
He follows with a palm wipe over his face, indicating high levels of stress, as well as trying to hide his face from everyone, from the embarrassment that he's currently going through. Now, I'm a Seinfeld fan, and there's this one clip of Jerry Seinfeld talking about replying to answers with face touching. Although this clip is about relationships, it also fits well within the context of what we see gestured here.
I've noticed when you talk with people about their relationships, I find the first thing they do is touch their face. You go, "So how's it going with Judy?" "Not bad, doing okay." They're just... It seems like the higher up on the face you go, the more trouble the relationship. "So you've been seeing each other a while?" "Well, a little while, not that long. But, I heard you might break up." "Yeah, we got to break up. I can't go any higher on my head."
Larry is the cinematographer. This is so embarrassing.
He now covers his mouth for a fraction of time, and this usually is an attempt to withhold information, and in this case, it is. However, instead of withholding from speaking, he transitions off topic and comes back to reveal he's so embarrassed in order to justify his behavior.
The cinematographer. This is so embarrassing.
He keeps his head down while continuing to rub his eyes, which indicates the movement of wiping imaginary tears away due to feeling upset, possibly about his public self-image. He accompanies this with nervous laughter, which could be a sign of, "How am I in this mess?" while covering his mouth again.
And did he call you Cher?
Quick hand movement down into his lap with a quick head nod that could also be a possible hard swallow as an attempt to snap himself out of it.
Cher?
He also licks his lips to allow moisture to aid in helping his mouth open easier for preparation to talk. This is because his lips will be drying out during this bombardment of stress thrown upon him. Here we have a drawn out with him looking away with his eyes closed in order to think without further distractions.
Yeah, look, sometimes...
Yeah, look, is the start of him about to justify his actions of the clip we just saw that was publicly revealed to everyone.
Yeah, look, sometimes
Again, he closes his eyes here so he can think more clearly. He lifts his head higher, exposing his neck, which shows vulnerability, all while loosening his necktie. He loosens it so he can relieve rising blood pressure and heat from around his neck, which will allow more air to flow through, or in this case, he could be wanting to appear that way.
Sometimes movies.
Quick sharp breath to prepare for speaking.
Sometimes movies get intense.
He continues to have extended eyes closed sessions in an attempt to block out the source of the problem, and at this point it's Kimmel.
Sometimes movies get intense because you're a lot of people in a small space and you're trying to find something and...
Now, at this moment, he lets go of the emotion and talks it out using his arms to gesture a boxed-in feeling, as a reference to the high-pressure environment on set being the cause of his outburst.
Tense because you're a lot of people in a small space and you're trying to find something and so it can feel intense, but
Jaw swings out sideways, shows disbelief and defeat at this moment, also relieving stress.
feel intense, but
He now rolls his tongue over his teeth, which is the concealment of anger.
intense, but that was supposed to be private.
Yeah.
He covers his mouth to inform Kimmel about how it was meant to be private. He also said it in a way that would imply it was a secret between Kimmel and himself. However, due to being watched by everyone in that room and at home, it was said as a joke to lighten the mood of the interview, along with his lengthy eyebrow raise that was to amplify his statement.
Private.
Yeah.
I'm a little embarrassed.
Another followed by a stress-relieving laugh and non-threatening smile in an attempt to say, "That's not what I'm like. I'm this person you see in front of you right now, not that person you just saw."
I'm a little embarrassed. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Sorry you guys had to see that.
I blame
Here he repeats "I'm" multiple times to draw out the apology, to make it sound like he was looking for the right words. How hard is it to say "I'm sorry" unless you want it to imply that you're looking deep down for the right words and come across as more thoughtful and sincere?
I'm a little embarrassed. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Here when he says "I'm sorry about that," he flashes a quick sign of anger, seen on the face via the eyebrows tightening and pushing down in the middle.
I'm a little embarrassed. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
He tucks in and bites his bottom lip, which in this case is a sign of stress and possibly anger.
Yeah.
Sorry you guys had to see that.
I blame Larry.
He now has a puzzled look on his face and apologizes to the audience and literally hands them the "I'm sorry" with a submissive palm up gesture.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Sorry you guys had to see that.
I blame Larry.
Yeah.
He also does this along with a perplexed look seen by his eyebrows laying flat and pushing down from the forehead, while also being pulled together. His internal thoughts at this point would be close to something along the lines of, "This shouldn't even have to be said."
To see that.
I blame Larry.
I blame Larry.
He then readjusts himself in the seat to find comfort.
I blame Larry too. No, I don't.
He looks down at this moment and scratches his hand and adjusts his sleeve out of nervousness to appear well presented. This is Phoenix trying to overcome the shabby self-representation of uncertainty and lack of significance he was just experiencing.
Larry too. No, I don't. It's not Larry's fault.
It is.
He then offers another palm-up gesture, mentioning that it's not Larry's fault, showing submission and sincerity.
Larry too. No, I don't. It's not Larry's fault.
It is Larry's fault. It's totally Larry's fault.
No,
and it's shit.
He places his palm back on his face with a stress-relieving rub of his eyes, then continues to move it back down to cover his mouth. Finally, he rests his hand to his chin in what is typically a thinking gesture. Now at this stage, the juice of the emotions he just went through are basically all dried up, and now we are left with the fumes of his ordeal.
Larry's fault.
No, you
and it's
shouldn't
Cher's
talk
fault
to
in a way,
people.
too.
We see him shaking his head and disagreeing with Kimmel here, following with a backhanded gesture to push Kimmel and his statements away.
Cher's fault in a way, too, you know? Cher does have some of the burden to take.
He takes a deep breath here due to Kimmel and him having different views. This is kind of like a fight or flight response, as in, do I try and explain myself again, or do I just sit here and nod politely and agree?
Burden to take for this.
Sure.
Well,
Meanwhile, Kimmel is trying his best to make a joke out of the situation by putting more pressure on him.
you know? Cher does have some of the burden to take for this.
Sure.
Phoenix now agrees by way of an animated head nod, a non-threatening smile, and again closes his eyes for an extended period of time, as well as having his hands clasped and resting in his lap. This is deflated agreeance, as in surrendering to Kimmel. If you can't beat him, join him type attitude.
Some of the burden to take for this.
Sure.
He does a quick hard swallow. Also, we can see sarcasm displayed here in one eyebrow, which is raised away from the camera, as well as his lips pulled together in a sideways pout.
Well,
Let me think about
Okay.
this a bit more.
okay, you do that.
My publicist will issue.
Now here he is scratching the bridge of his nose between his eyes. This is him in this case thinking of a frustratingly delicate topic, which could possibly be about what him and his publicist will be discussing in roughly around 15 minutes.
My publicist will issue a formal statement tomorrow.
Okay, all right, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
A slight side jaw flex, again to relieve stress.
Yeah.
Here he has a defeated smile with a blank stare into nothing.
Can we move on?
Yes, we can.
Is there
Well-
something else to talk about?
Phoenix then asks Kimmel to move on, and what he means is to move on to a different topic, which Kimmel replies by bringing him straight back into the situation.
Can we move on?
Yes, we can.
Is there
Well,
something else to talk about?
It's over now, so if you want to go call Larry, we can we can do it.
Well, I should probably publicly apologize to Larry.
Yeah.
Phoenix now announces a public apology with open arms.
Yeah, you probably should. Yeah.
And we also see slow blinks and head nodding.
Larry. The thing is, though, he I am sorry, but he did whisper.
Okay, so here he's gone in for a well-timed joke instead, now diverting the apology, making the whole thing sound a lot less important than it really is, because now it sounds like immature drama, which is funny because, as opposed to Kristen Bale's rant, it is. All because of a guy whispering on set and calling him Cher. However, when Kimmel was saying it's Larry's fault, it's Cher's fault, Phoenix was disagreeing with him. So this is Phoenix now backtracking and putting the blame back on Larry in a comedic way, pretty much like the punchline to the interview.
The thing is, though,
He now gestures with a politician's point. This gestures authority, while concealing that it's a pointing gesture, softening the impact of the accusation.
the thing is, though, I am sorry, but
He now uses pushing motions with his hands as if to push the audience away in order to let him speak and get his point heard before they judge him.
I am sorry, but he did whisper like constantly while we're trying to work, and sometimes it's really hard to find like the emotion that you're after. So it was wrong of me. I'm sorry.
Hands on the heart, head down, eyes closed, show sincerity due to the number of clusters we see here.
But he shouldn't have done it.
I agree.
I'll be honest,
He follows with a shoulder shrug here and leaves the audience with that apology as is. We see the fear on his face via the lips here, as in, make of that what you will.
I'll be honest,
And finally, he wipes one palm on his knee in purpose to wipe off the sweat that has built up throughout the interview. This is a nervous gesture of sweaty palms.
Phoenix, Joker.
And from here, the interview comes to a close. Alright, observers, now before I give my opinion on the matter, if you like what you see here on The Observant Man, then be sure to let me know by giving it a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe. That way you can stay up to date with more uploads just like this one. Also, have you got an idea for a video? If yes, then leave a comment down below of what you would like to see, and you could see it covered in one of our future videos. So looking back, this movie has had hype and attention all over it since day one, with leaks of shaky camera footage along with constant updates as the film progressed, and the interview is no different. I do feel it's just another piece of the attention-seeking pie in ways of advertising for this film. And yes, I do hear what you're saying, but why would he go to all that effort to fake it? Well, let me just remind you of this. But seriously, if you like playing sports or have a passion which is developed as a valuable skill, would it really be that much of an inconvenience to use it? You have to remember, he's an award-winning actor, so this is kind of what he does for a profession. And as an actor, he is recalling on past experiences to elicit these emotions we have witnessed here, and he is really, really good at it. Hence why he has been nominated for 3 Academy Awards, 3 British Academy Film Awards, 4 Screen Actors Guild Awards, 5 Golden Globe Awards, 3 Critics' Choice Movie Awards. Not to mention he has won a Golden Globe Award, Grammy Award, Independent Spirit Award, along with awards from the Cannes Film Festival, Venice Film Festival, Los Angeles Films Critics Association, and National Board of Review. So he's no stranger to getting into character and putting on a show. After all, actors and actresses are by profession professional liars. This interview reminds me of another interview I watched with Bryce Dallas Howard on Conan, and how she showed off her awesome talent of how she could cry on command.
You can cry on command.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Have at Home Depot, and I just think to myself, my God, Home Depot, how do you do this? Fair. It's a company, and it's in a company that should be compensated. Oh my God!
And that was just talking about Home Depot. So in this interview, Joaquin Phoenix hit every gesture that portrays guilt and humiliation on the head with timing, execution, and precision, making it seem more natural and real. However, the chances of it being an organized marketing ploy which involve him acting out these emotions for the sake of publicity could also be highly possible. I do feel the emotions he experienced were genuine and sincere, due to a few little details such as his micro expressions and sweaty palms. However, I don't know if I can truly rule out that he wasn't fully caught off guard. The chances of it being a marketing opportunity for people to Google search, share, and discuss in order to unintentionally promote the movie seems to be more realistic, and so far 8.5 million viewers of this interview can't be wrong. And regardless of it being real or fake, there is one more possibility, and that is simply the director, Todd Phillips, purposefully did send in the outtakes knowing it would embarrass an unprepared Phoenix, and that alone was enough to spark the success of the clip's trending potential. Because when we step back and look at it, and I mean really look at it, the outtake was extremely vanilla, and once in context, it's actually kind of funny. Sure. So tell me, what are your thoughts on the topic? Do you think this is a talented actor using his skills along with a clever marketing team to help promote his movie? Or maybe it is real, and just simply put, a guy who's embarrassed for being exposed and revealing another side to him to the public eye. Feel free to continue the conversation down below or over at The Observant Man on Twitter, and don't forget to check me out over on Instagram as well. And if you're still with me up until this point, then I'd like to say thank you. And thank you for taking the time out to watch this episode of The Observant Man. I hope you not only found this video in part useful, but you also found it entertaining. And that concludes my body language analysis of Joaquin Phoenix. So until next time, observers, peace out.